posterity of Abraham through Isaac and Jacob had early come to be known by the title in which they took undying pride and found inspiring promise: Israelites, or the children of Israel. Collectively, they were so designated throughout the dark days of their bondage in Egypt, so during the 4 decades of the Exodus and the return to the land of promise, and on through the period of their prosperity as a mighty people under the administration of the judges, and as a united monarchy during the successive reigns of Saul, David, and Solomon. Immediately following the death of Solomon, about 975 BC, according to the most generally accepted chronology, the nation was disrupted by revolt. The tribe of Judah, part of the tribe of Benjamin, and small remnants of a few other tribes remained true to the royal succession, and accepted Rehoboam, son of Solomon, as their king, while the rest, usually spoken of as the 10 tribes, broke their allegiance to the house of David and made Jeroboam, an Ephraimite, their king. The 10 tribes retained the title Kingdom of Israel, though also known as Ephraim. Rehoboam and his adherents were distinctively called the Kingdom of Judah. For about 250 years, the 2 kingdoms maintained their separate autonomy. Then, about 722 or 721 BC, the independent status of the Kingdom of Israel was destroyed, and the captive people were transported to Assyria by Shalmaneser and others. Subsequently, they disappeared so completely as to be called the Lost Tribes. The Kingdom of Judah was recognized as a nation for about 130 years longer. Then, about 588 BC, it was brought into subjection by Nebuchadnezzar, through whom the Babylonian captivity was inaugurated. For 80 years and 10, Judah was kept in exile and virtual bondage, in consequence of their transgression, as had been predicted through Jeremiah. Then the Lord softened the hearts of their captors, and their restoration was begun under the decree of Cyrus the Persian, who had subdued the Babylonian kingdom. The Hebrew people were permitted to return to Judea and to enter upon the work of rebuilding the temple at Jerusalem. A great company of the exiled Hebrews availed themselves of this opportunity to return to the lands of their fathers, though many elected to remain in the country of their captivity, preferring Babylon to Israel. The whole congregation of the Jews who returned from the Babylonian exile were but 42,363, beside their servants and their maids, of whom there were 7,337. The relatively small size of the migrating nation is further shown by the register of their beasts of burden. While those who did return strove valiantly to re-establish themselves as the house of David, and to regain some measure of their former prestige and glory, the Jews were never again a truly independent people. In turn, they were preyed upon by Greece, Egypt, and Syria. But about 164 to 163 BC, the people threw off, in part at least, the alien yoke as a result of the patriotic revolt led by the Maccabees, the most prominent of whom was Judas Maccabeus. The temple service, which had been practically abolished through the proscription of victorious foes, was re-established. In the year 163 BC, the sacred structure was rededicated, and the joyful occasion was thereafter celebrated in annual festival as the Feast of Dedication. During the reign of the Maccabees, however, the temple fell into an almost ruinous condition, more as a result of the inability of the reduced and impoverished people to maintain it than through any further decline of religious zeal. In the hope of ensuring a greater measure of national protection, the Jews entered into an unequal alliance with the Romans and eventually became tributary to them, in which condition the Jewish nation continued throughout the period of our Lord's ministry. In the meridian of time, Rome was virtually mistress of the world, When Christ was born, Augustus Caesar was emperor of Rome, and the Idumean Herod, surnamed the Great, was the vassal king of Judea.